Welcome to underscore her story underscore his story. As of right now, solo host. I'm Inka. Just to put a couple of things out there, we are just doing this as entertainment, adult entertainment. Please be respectful of each other. Please don't use any profanity that can get your account flagged or interrupted. We don't want anybody in IG jail. So let's be respectful. We're here to talk about grown folks things. Tonight's topic, kind of teetering on it since it's just me alone. Pay stubs. Should your spouse have access to your financial information? Should they know how much you bring home every week, bi-week, monthly, yearly? Do you share your spending habits, your accounts, your credit cards, your bank information? How much is too much? And should you be allowed some form of privacy when it comes to your finances? So that's the topic we're hitting on today. Hey, fire. It's just me so far. Me and Trini Nini in here. And we're discussing finances between couples. Is your money, or is it our money? A part of the collective. Is it we money? I know women, we like to have ours be ours, and then his be ours too, or the other person's be ours too. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to be taking calls, so I hope y'all get prettied up. I had to throw a hat on because I was looking real questionable under here. So I hope y'all are camera ready, and if not, put the camera to the side so we can't exactly see you if you feel some type of way. But I'm definitely gonna need some callers. Exactly, Trini Nini. I need that. I need a t-shirt that say that. My money is my money. Your money is my money. So when it comes to households though, do you believe in joint accounts? Is there a household account? Everybody contributes. Should y'all contribute the same amount? Or should it be based on how much each person brings home? Should you just be responsible for your own account and they're responsible for their account, and you just have an understanding of who pays what bills? Let me know how y'all working things out. Don't be ignoring my invitations either. I just said, don't be denying my invitations. Okay, so I'm going to go first. I'm a strong believer, one, in do what works for y'all. If it's been one way all the time, and it works for y'all, stick to that. Do not get pressured into feeling like, oh, this worked for this couple, so this is what we got to do, or anything like that. Do what works for y'all. With that being said, I believe that coming into my relationship, my own marriage, we had separate, but it was very clear. You're responsible for these things. This person's responsible for these things. When it came to more miscellaneous things, just as far as like clothing for the baby and groceries and different things that's needed for the house, it's kind of like on a need basis. So if I know we need detergent, I'm not going to wait, and be like, hey, you owe me half of whatever Tide costs or Gain or whatever. It's more of a, I know we need it, I'm going to go grab it. If you see we're short on something, you go grab it. So that's what's been working for us. We have since, walking down the aisle, had a discussion about possibly having a joint that maybe just the house stuff comes under. But I don't feel like it's a priority. I don't feel like it's something that has to happen. I just feel like each person has to be responsible for whatever it is they're responsible for. Joint credit cards and stuff like that, I feel like there would be too much of checking and rechecking, and I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to stuff like that. I don't necessarily feel like I want to be looking through my bank statement or the credit card statement and being like, oh, what was this $50 for? Or blah, blah. I just feel like it complicates things. I ain't got time. So I feel like if it works for you and it's been working for you and it hasn't caused problems, hey, that crew, okay.
Yeah, that's all you get. That's all you getting is the top of the hat. That's it.
Well, we'll take whatever we can get.
I might give you a little bit of eyes.
Okay, so when it comes to the finances in couplehood, in weddinghood, and living togetherhood, whatever it is that you're in, how do you feel like finances need to be handled?
I personally think that I don't do joint accounts. I don't do joint accounts.
What's the fear of the joint account?
Don't monitor my money. Don't monitor what I'm spending. See, I've been in a relationship where my spending was monitored before. It was, oh, you bought this and you bought that. Why you buy? Listen. You buy what you want to buy. I'm going to buy what I want to buy. As long as the household stuff is taken care of, we all good on it. And I think
look at this party animal.
Well, hello, Johnny.
Yeah. I made it.
Kind of not.
Yeah. I bet I did. You ain't read the disclaimer yet, did you?
I did all that.
Oh, damn.
Johnny, come
I
late.
don't have my notes, but I have my version of it.
All right, so then what's the topic tonight?
Look at that. You see how yin and yang, we wasn't even on the same page.
Right.
We're
My
talking
money is
finances in the couplehood. Are we disclosing pay stubs, bank statements, all that good stuff?
No.
Are we
money,
doing
my
joint
money,
accounts?
and your money, my money. That's
Nah, listen, fact.
Listen, Nene
No,
about to make T-shirts. My money is my money, but your money is my money too.
Wait, what?
My money is my money.
Right. Yo.
Your money is my money. End of story. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Listen. No, I can't agree with that. This is what I'm going to say.
All right, because I already gave my kind of opinion on it before Nene came in, so let's hear what you got to say.
All right, so this is what I'm going to say. Now, if you're going to do a joint account should be an account where you and your partner is putting money in together, but also have your own separate account. You understand? Right. So if you're doing a joint account, maybe your joint account could be for y'all bills or for travel fund or, things that you guys do where both of you guys have to invest in it together.
Okay, so with that being said, do you feel like those accounts should be a 50-50 contribution, or do you think that it should be based on percentage? Like if you make significantly more?
Yeah, I think, listen, I won't say 50-50. I think it would be based on the discussion that you have. It could be 50-50, or it could be like, yo, you know what? This week I'm able to hold it down. I throw it in this week. I know you have it this next week. You throw it in the next week. You know what I'm saying? It really depends on, like how you guys discuss how you want to be, sharing finances. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you have this joint account. Everybody should have their own money. Now, at the end of the day, you probably already know how much I make an hour because people disclose that information freely. How much you get an hour? Oh, I'm getting $30 an hour. Oh,
do you?
$35.
I've never been. I feel like this relationship was the most free I was about finances.
Okay.
That is not something that I'm giving up. Yeah, I'm not giving
up. I just don't.
Really?
I don't disclose it. I don't.
You know, it's public information, right? There's a generalization based on your
you can be a private investigator and find it out, but I'm not volunteering.
Right.
Well, I mean, you know what? I understand that. It'll be weird if I'm in a relationship with somebody and they can't disclose how much they make an hour. I'll be like,
how does that come up in conversation to be disclosed?
Huh?
How does that come up in conversation to be discussed?
What? I mean, it's simple. Like, oh, well, how much you making an hour? Or what's your hourly rate? What do you have a
Why
package?
you need to know
You
all
got
of that? What you need money for?
Right.
You need
I
help
feel
with
like that's
something, or you
very
need me to contribute to something?
Really?
If you need me to contribute to something, then you say that. But how much I'm making an hour? What that got to do
If
with
we're
the
doing
money?
a joint account, that's not a that should.
Oh, I
No,
already
but
said I don't
joint
do joint account.
account. So
I
joint
already said I
account.
don't do joint
She
account.
says she don't do that anyway.
Okay.
So I think joint account comes further down the line, right?
Right. Obviously.
But even in a relationship, I feel like it's not something where it's like, let me see your bank statements, you see mine, let's
No.
just exchange this information. Some people do that. Some people do that. They want it very clear cut. They want it open and honest. Some people know how much the other person brings home. Listen, my grandfather used to bring home his paycheck and more or less hand it to my grandmother. She would get his Metro card. She made sure he had food every day and things like that. And
There's people that still do that today.
Huh?
I know construction people that still do that today.
Right, because it's almost like I'm going to bring on all that. But you know what? If you're better at organizing and making sure the bills are paid and stuff, she worked too.
Right.
But he just felt like on a day-to-day basis, I'm not really in need of no big amount of money. Of course, he had access to his own account and stuff like that. But he more or less just handed the check over. And I was like, that's him having a lot of faith in her, one. But I don't feel like you need to do that.
No, it's not a need to do. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I said, it's public information. That's like saying, yo, do you have a job? Yeah, I have a job. What do you do? Oh, this is what I do. Okay. Like I said, public information. Oh, so you're in this range of an occupation.
Right. You can know that.
Right.
But
So,
that conversation, I promise you, has never come up
Never.
too specifically for me.
In my 47 years, I ain't never had that conversation with nobody I've ever dealt with.
well, you know what? You see, I think maybe a lot of times people put so much emphasis on their finance, it prevents them from getting to that next level. You know, I mean, for some people, I'm not saying for everybody, but for some people, that level, like if you so secretive with how you taking care of yourself.
I don't know. Okay,
it's not about secrecy.
I was gonna say, what makes you use the word secretive?
Because
okay, if you're in something with
if you
somebody,
feel it's an invasion of your privacy.
it's
No.
She said it never came up, and I'm going to say the same thing. I can't recall me having a conversation with someone and them saying, "Well, how much you make an hour?" Or how much do you bring home every year? Like,
but
even
I'm gonna ask like you said, how much you bring in a week, but your annually salary, or like what's your annual?
I don't think anyone has ever asked.
So you do your taxes with your husband, correct?
Last year, well, this year was the first year where we went to the same tax person last year, but I did mine like on a Monday, and I think he went in on Thursday. So it wasn't where it's like, oh, let me see what your thing is or whatever. Of course, we discussed our returns and how much we anticipated back, stuff like that. But it wasn't ever where it's like, let me see a document. So what did they say you had at the end of the year? Because I feel like what works for us. And that's part of my opening statement is whatever works for you guys, make it work for you guys. And that's that. Some people have joint accounts. Some people need 50-50 in it. We personally don't have a joint account. We have had the conversation of it.
Right.
But we also kind of trust each other to say, okay, you have these responsibilities and I have these responsibilities. Y'all, take care of whatever it is. I think where some of the joint stuff would be, like you said, vacations, or if we're just keeping that emergency stash and we both want to say, okay, it's this much each month or whatever the case is or whatever, that's a little bit different. But as far as like, we don't have shared credit cards or any of that stuff. And I never felt like it was a necessity because I never wanted it to be where it's like, oh, you check in. Oh, I see you went to the spa and it's this much. And I just never felt the need to. I don't necessarily believe that he's the type of person that would do it. But I also think it's human nature to be like, man, that's how much it costs to go get your nails done. Like,
well, all right. Now, what you're talking about is like basically sharing financial information of what you're doing on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, something like that. No, what I'm trying to say is a base knowledge of saying, oh, like I said, like with construction, I was making what, $42 something an hour, and then my package, my benefits and everything like that is about what a whole like 30 something, almost $40 an hour. So my whole package an hour is roughly almost $80 an hour when you include everything that you're making. This is like public information.
You keep saying that, but who publicly goes and be like, I wonder in Union 312. Blah, blah.
Nah,
most people
you don't have to wonder.
Most
it's
people
public information.
don't
not
do
that public.
Even if
it's very public.
Let me tell you why I say it's not that.
You
public.
tell me whatever your career position is. I'll go right now on Google and be like, that's what you're making.
I feel like you went a step further. When you say public information, we're not talking about public information. We're talking about a couple talking about whatever it is that they're doing. Because guess what? If you look up construction worker, you're going to get a range from here to here, and you have to determine where you fall.
Not if you look up electrician.
Okay, well then not electrician.
Not if you look up plumber.
Flight attendant can get hired at this amount and can go up to this amount. And that's just me talking about what I've done.
Right.
So, you can have an idea, but I'm talking about two people having a conversation about it.
Right.
Where it's like, what do you bring home? How much are you making this amount? Or even if you tell them an hourly rate, I don't know too many people who sit and calculate. Okay, well, if
you ain't gonna calculate.
Okay, so then that still gives you the end result of exchanging financial information.
Yeah, well, all right. So that's what I'm trying to say. So you guys are taking it to the extreme where it's like, yo, how much hours you worked last week? How much you bought in this?
No, that's not
at all.
That's a different conversation of saying
that's not the conversation we're having.
Sharing financial information. If saying, yo, I make this much an hour is feeling like too private for you, then you have walls up in your relationship.
You're being ridiculous. When does that come up in a relationship? I mean, even in a conversation. When I meet someone, honestly, I don't think I ever ask, how much is that an hour? I feel like it's very money driven. The more you get involved in the relationship, you share more information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not let me go Google how much you make at this company per hour. So I had a general idea of how much he made, and then I saw, his
pay stub?
No, what's shit?
Taxes, W-2?
Yes. And then I was like, okay, that's different than what I thought. But it wasn't so far out the stratosphere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not something he ever came to me and be like, babe, I just want you to know this. Or that I inquired, hey, how much you bringing home a year or anything like that. That just wasn't a part of the conversation. As a matter of fact, even when we went into like purchasing a home and stuff like that, it was like, okay, how much do you feel comfortable, doing every month? Or how much is too much for the month? Just so we know what range to stay in, know how much house we could buy. And you know what I'm saying? And still feel comfortable. So it was never chop it down so specifically.
Well, I understand. Like I said, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm not saying what you guys are doing is right or wrong. What I'm trying to say is that for somebody to be like, yo, you guys are talking. Like I said, this is not no first date conversation where it's like on the first date, yo, well, what kind of job you have? I mean, there are people that do that too. What kind of job you have? Oh, okay. So you listen out. There's people who do that. There's nothing wrong with that either. But what I'm trying to say is that type of information is not really that private. It's not really that invasive. I
think to some people it is very private.
That's what I'm trying to say. And for those people who feel that sharing public information about themselves is private, because it is public information.
It's not public information.
It's public information where it's not generalized specifically to you.
It is.
There's a general.
Listen,
hold on.
I'm gonna give you.
It's general.
I'm gonna give you case in point. My job, right? I'm assistant manager. There's 4 other.
Assistant manager for what?
None of us make the same amount of money.
But assistant manager for what?
For a corporate business.
Okay, so then there's a range. Regardless of what it is, there's a range. So that range
but
is
that
public
don't mean,
information.
but you don't know how much. But it's not like, okay, well, you make this amount of money or you make this amount. It's a very wide range. And when I say it's a wide range, there's like a $30,000 difference.
So you're proving my point. You're proving my point by that, because you're saying, because I know the range, I don't know where you fall at in that range, where it makes it personal about you. So that's where it becomes secretive. It's public information that you are keeping secret about yourself.
Okay,
I have a range of where you're at. So I'm like, oh, she's around this range. She's in between this 30,000 and that 30,000. But I don't know where she's at. She's not telling me. She's not sharing that information with me because she's private. That wall is up for me. That's a wall. That is a wall. In your
I don't see it as being secretive, because as long as I'm pulling my weight, listen, we're going to have a clear discussion on what bills we're doing joint and what bills are mine, what bills are yours.
You could say that about anything that is of you that you don't share. Some people don't leave their phone around unlocked around their partner. It's not because, oh, you're trying to hold on to stuff. It's, I can respect privacy just like you can respect privacy.
But would you share your phone with your partner?
I have no problem doing it.
So then you see, so then that wall is not up.
Listen, you keep interrupting.
As you interrupted me.
I did it when?
A few times y'all interrupted me.
No, don't say y'all. I'm talking to you specifically.
Both
I did not interrupt you.
You and her both interrupted me a few times in the same.
Oh my God.
When we look back, you'll see it. Oh, I interrupted you that time. Oh, I didn't interrupt you that time. You'll see it when you look back. But
I specifically waited for you to finish speaking.
You'll see it when you look back. Look back, you'll see it. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. Right. Go ahead. Say what you want to say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want you to finish your thought.
Okay. Like I said, because, thank you. Let me finish my thought. If you have that public information where it's this range and this range, but you keeping that wall up about yourself privately, because it is a wall, you feel like, oh, you don't need to know that. That's a private wall you're saying to your partner. They don't need to know this about you. Right? That's what you're saying.
That's not what I said. Go ahead. That's not what I said, but go ahead.
My information. I'm pulling my weight, so you don't need to know this. That's too much information.
That's not what I said, but go ahead.
Not in those words, but that's how it'll be taken. Anyway, right? So you have that wall up. That person is going to keep a wall up between you two. You know, that person is going to create a rift, because that person's going to be like, all right, they still feel like they can keep something with me. They're not fully open with me if you can't share something like that. And we're supposed to be working together in the same goal. I'm not trying to count your dollars, but I'm still saying, so I have an understanding of how I want to flex as well. You're going to know my information. I'm going to know your information. That's how we share it. That's what relationships is about. It's about building together. If you keeping a wall up, then guess what happens? The wall gets higher, and it's two people on one side of each wall.
So just for those now coming in, the topic tonight is shared finances. Do you disclose your wages, your salary, your expenses, your bills? Do you share that with your significant other? Is there an appropriate time to do it, or is your money, their money, their money? So, weighing in, I came in saying that I feel like everybody has to do what works for them. Sometimes it works separate but equal. Sometimes people want to be joint and add everything into one big melting pot. It all depends on, I personally feel it depends on your personal situation. I've never been a fan of joint, just because I feel like if I'm responsible, you're responsible, and we come to an understanding of how we're going to handle our household, then it can work perfectly that way. I feel like a lot of times it creates unnecessary friction just because sometimes it's loud.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, but it's loud.
We can't hear. I can't hear.
So you guys
tomorrow. Gotta mute it. Bye. Yeah, I think What's I saying? Oh, some people, I think sometimes it brings unnecessary friction. That's my personal opinion. I may think that going out to dinner and me and a friend spending, $100 is loud.
I can't hear you.
Mute.
Yeah.
I feel like if I feel like spending $100 at dinner is reasonable, the other person doesn't think so. That could create conflict. So if I'm not using it from the joint pot or whatever, or we don't have a joint pot, I feel like as long as y'all have a clear understanding of what y'all each want to do, then that's fine. And like I said, we've discussed having the joint account just as far as like saving towards certain specific goals, as far as like whether it's vacation, whether it's just our emergency stash, stuff like that. But other than that, we've kind of just kept things separate. I'm responsible for certain things. He's responsible for certain things. And it's never been a conversation, and I can only speak on me, where I specifically ask someone, how much are you making? How much is this? How much is that? I do get a general range just off of common sense and common knowledge of certain things, but it's never something I pointedly ask someone, how much do you bring home? How much do you think? Even in my current relationship, I had a fair idea, but it was never a conversation that was, I need to know what you're doing. Because I always feel like once you do that, you start rationing out that person's money. And I've never wanted to be on the receiving end of it or on the other end of it. Because if you tell me, oh yeah, I made $250,000 last year.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me help you invest that.
You know what I mean? Like, where the rest at? Like that. And I've never wanted to put that on myself or put it on anybody else. So me personally, listen, as long as you handle what you say you're handling and it's not creating a stress in your life or anything like that, I'm good knowing less. Like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way, you know?
I've had it there.
Cujo, that's what we said, but he's saying that it's public knowledge, which to most, yeah, it is public knowledge, but with the specifics, not the range. Like, you're gonna get a range. If you're like, oh, how much can you earn, you know, being a manager at McDonald's? It's gonna start with here. The max could be here. Where you are in the range and the specifics of what we're talking about, not the general public information of how much your profession makes, because then there's other factors. There's what state you live in, what kind of taxes you pay, all these different things come into play. And I'm hoping no one dives that far in. They're tallying up your wages. They're also checking how much your state is in tax and all that. To me, that's a bit too much. It comes to me like the cell phone thing. Yeah, I could leave my cell phone around you, but that shouldn't be a requirement to show you that I'm committed or that I trust you and you trust me. I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it's kind of mine and you have yours and we're good. And I don't feel like it creates a wall. I feel like I feel like everything needs boundaries. That's just me. I feel like everybody needs a certain level of themselves, you know, to stay to themselves, even with all the we's, you know? So absolutely. That's my input on it.
And like I said, I have been on the receiving end of that. I've been in the relationship where we worked at the same place. So it was knowledge of what I made, what he made. We did the same thing. So we knew what each other were getting, bringing home. But then it became, oh, you spent such and such on this, and oh, you spent such and such on that. Don't count my dollars. That's my don't count my dollars. Don't count my dollars. If I don't count your dollars, then don't count my dollars. If we need something and we come to an agreement, listen, I'll pay this, and bill. You pay that bill. We'll go half on this bill. When it comes to these things, we'll ration out who do what. I'll do this month, you do that next month. Whatever the agreement we have, then that's fine. If it goes to another level where 5 years from now, wherever things situation changes and we need to reevaluate, then that's different. But don't count my dollars on what I make.
Look at me and enough dollars agreeing on something.
Whoa.
Let me just go through a couple of these comments. My money is my money. DJ Cujo, Lord. We could join when I see we have more of a mindset. I guess he's saying once we're on the same page and things are going in the same light, then we can do all that. Spicy says, then it becomes a competition or petty moves. I can see the potential for that happening. Cujo, find out what they do for a living, then Google how much this is.
Public information.
So you won't be rude asking. Same thing he was saying. It's gonna come up in the Google search anyway. Cujo, I don't know what you're trying to say here. I don't think it's a boundary or wall. I agree. I feel like knowing how much I make or not knowing how much I make isn't necessarily me creating a wall, but I just feel like it's a certain level of privacy. Certain things you're going to share just because you have to share, but certain things I think if you keep it to yourself, it's not detrimental to the relationship.
And it's not so much being done. It's not so much being done out of trying to keep a secret.
Right. Neff Dollar said, I ain't doing that. We can put money together for certain things, but I'm never putting all my eggs in one basket. Hell no. Before you go one day and that account cleaned out. Pink,
that don't make sense.
Candles. She came in a little earlier tonight. Hey. Cujo said exactly. Don't worry what I'm spending my money on. That's the issue.
That's a fact.
East Coast said he rolling with your girl, and he don't think you want to hear that tonight.
Well, it don't matter what he want to hear. We on the show. All right, this is what I'm gonna say.
We talking about you.
No, it's all good. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what he want to say. Anyway, like I'm saying, right?
Right.
Listen, I understand. I ain't never had a joint account. I've been married. I never had a joint account. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, sharing my information of how much I made a year or how much I nigga, you bugging, bro. I ain't never had no joint account, nigga. You call somebody who said they had a joint account with me, nigga. You bugging. Anyway, like I said, never in my life, nigga, I had a joint account with anybody. But it doesn't matter. I don't have a problem with sharing how much I made last year or sharing how much I make an hour. Now,
yeah, but okay,
hold on. See?
Go ahead. No, you know why? It's a question because if I let you, you'll talk for 15 minutes straight. What I was going to say is, even if you don't have a problem divulging, what if they never ask you? Would you volunteer that information?
I don't just volunteer. Like I said, I'm not going to volunteer like I'm bragging. That would sound like bragging.
It's not. Listen, you just already bragged. If I talk about how much I earned this day, and then when I add my but I'm saying, if she never asks, how do you broach that subject? Like, how do you volunteer?
No, just like I'm saying. You see, if you're in a relationship, this is like I said, this is not no first date. Oh, first date. I mean, there's people that do it. Like I said, this is not. I'm not gonna be on a first date telling you, oh, this is what I do. This is what I got.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? But when you're building and stuff like that, you're gonna get to a point where y'all gonna end up talking about finance. Like that's gonna end up if your relationship is serious, especially if you're living together or you're married or something like that. Your finances is gonna end up being a conversation. It's tax time. The finance is gonna be a conversation. Somehow, some way, your finance is gonna be a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, that's when it'll come to, this is how I'm going to be divulging my information. This is what I make an hour. Yeah, you're not going to know how much hours I work every week. So you're not going to know what my overtime is. You're not going to know if I'm working every, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to know my hours of how long I work every week.
That sounds more secretive than how much.
No, it's not about secretive. It's just saying that you're not going to know my weekly pay stuff. But at the end of the day, me sharing how much I make an hour or me showing how much I make annually, that's I feel like that's...
What's the difference in the two?
So, what's the difference? The difference is...
If you could tell me how much you make an hour, why you can't tell me how much you made in a week? Or if we're
because every week could be different.
I would see it. No?
Every week could be different.
That's true.
I could do 2 hours overtime this week, and then I could do 12 hours overtime next week. It's different. So this week I'm gonna be like, oh, I did 2 hours. Oh, next week I did 12.
So is that a wall?
No, that's not a wall. That's like you said. This is about still being a person. You know, I'm not gonna be there.
Right.
Right. but no, you see, when you're saying like, oh no, I'm not gonna tell you how much I make an hour. You can go look it up, but I'm not
I
gonna
didn't
tell
say.
you.
I never said that.
No, hold on.
You like to
You're not.
paraphrase wrong.
You're not the only person here. So
well, the only
if
one
it don't
to you,
apply, let it fly.
but I'm the one speaking directly to
Both
you. So if you're
I'm speaking.
responding to my question,
I'm speaking to everybody.
you can't talk to her about
Yes, I can.
question. No,
Yes, I
I
can.
didn't ask you a question.
I'm talking to everybody though. This is for everybody.
But I
This
did not
just for
ask you a question. You are
But could you
specifically
answer
answering
my
Inka's question.
No, I'm
you answer
specifically
mine?
answering her question for everybody
To
though.
me.
For everybody.
Everybody don't want it. I want it.
Everybody does want it. They're here. What are you talking
Look,
about?
she right there. She said she don't want it.
I don't want it. I
She
ain't
wants you to
asking.
answer my
All right,
question.
so you don't want it? Hop out.
I ain't asking.
Kick her out right now.
If
What
I
the hell?
wanted
We
it,
don't
I'd
need you
ask
on here if you don't want it. You bugging.
You're not making no
Yo,
sense.
you're bugging.
I
What are you
asked you a
talking
question,
about?
but
Yeah.
you want to answer for everyone.
I'm
and I
answering for the
want you
room.
to answer the question I asked.
Hold it. Oh, God. All right. What's the question you asked? Because let me answer you specifically. What's the question you want me to answer? Because y'all driving me crazy right now.
I'm trying to find out that if you said, I can let you know how much I work for an hour because this is public information, it's free information, and we're building, and it's not date one, yet you draw the line at, well, I ain't gonna tell you how many hours I work. I ain't gonna tell you how much it is this time frame. But then you in the next breath said, I don't mind telling you how much I made the month or for the year. So when you say well, I can't let you know everything, how is that not a wall or a boundary that you were saying we were given?
First of all, that's not a wall. It's a boundary, but it's not a wall because at the end of the day, you still have to maintain for yourself, for you.
Individuality. Got it.
Even if we're sharing and I'm throwing money in an account, and like I said, you having a joint account and we're both throwing money in that account, I'm still going to have my own personal account.
Right.
So I'm still going to have my own cash, my own. I'm still going to be me. So you knowing what I do every day, how I do every day, where I step every day, that's leaving no room for me to still be me. Everything is a us. Everything is a us in that situation. You know, in my every hour, every step, everything is a us. I have no me. Where's my me time? Where's anything about me? If I tell you what I do in a year, you're not going to be able to generalize my every day in a year. You're not going to be like, oh, well, that means this week.
Break it down by 52 weeks.
and still in all, your estimate is going to be wrong. Because like I said, I could do 2 hours this week and 12 hours next week. So your estimate would still be off.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know that particular part of it is relevant. So there's let's have a joint account for certain things, but this started as a combining financial, contributions from the house. So if I put in my little $100 a week and you bring your $1,000 a week, like, should that information be freely shared? Should it be, something that where there's no filter, there's no, I guess, boundary, there's no wall. It's just like, I know what it is you did this week, you know what it is that I did this week. Especially when you have a joint account and you have direct deposit put in and stuff like that. Like I was saying with my grandmother, my grandfather, he used to literally hand her his checks, back in the day where checks were a thing. And she would just deposit in their joint account, handle the bill she got to handle, hand him his cash for the week, whatever it is that he said he needed for the week to go about his business. And if he needed to get something else, it's not a problem for him to go and handle his own, expenses and deal with certain things. But they had that where there's no surprises. There's no, you work 20 hours and you got it in a little stash over here and whatever. There's none of that. And I know couples who do that, and then I know people who, which I think is probably closer to me, is have a joint account for specific things or specific goals. And the other part of it was, do you share, do you guys do it 50-50, or are we going to base it on how much we each bring to the table? Because if I make $100 a week and you make $1,000, are we both putting in $50? It's going to affect what you look like as opposed to what I look like every week, or is it going to be percentage based?
Well,
Okay,
that's like I said, that's a conversation that couple will have to have, and that couple will have to agree on, what they both feel comfortable with. That's something that couple, if that couple is saying, if the person is saying, yo, look, all right, boom, you're only making 100, I'm making 1,000. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting all my cash. I'm not putting 50% of my cash because you putting 50% of your cash. I'm putting $50 and you putting $50. Then that's the agreement they have. But if they have the agreement where, all right, you put 50% of your check and I'm putting 50% of my check, then that's what it is. Those two people that's agreeing to throw into whatever this joint account is, they'll have that agreement when they have this conversation. But at that same time, you basically still gonna have to share your financial information so that these people, to make these decisions, they can have a generalization on how they want to make these decisions.
And that's why I said I don't necessarily agree, because when we were looking into purchasing a home and stuff, it was like, what are you comfortable doing? Not how much are you making, so now I can calculate if that's a comfortable rate for you.
Right.
You a grown person, just like I'm grown. So if I say, listen, can't do no more than $1,000, what can you do? Okay, well, me comfortably, I could do $1,500. Then we need to look for something in that range that's going to make both of us comfortable, and no one's going to feel like they are, you know what I'm saying, without getting down to nitty gritty. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just feel like
I'm saying nobody's wrong.
Right. I just feel like that formula doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And if it doesn't mean something else, like, oh, you got a wall, you got a barrier, you got a this, that. I just feel like, one, everybody wasn't raised the same. Everybody don't handle finances the same.
That's a fact.
Everybody doesn't have that guard down to where it's like, hey, something in the past may have, triggered something, or they had some kind of PTSD based on something that happened to them. So now they're a little more guarded with things. You know what I mean? So everybody has their thing. I was asking people specifically what works for them. So that's why I say, when I'm asking you, like, what does it look like to you? Like, in your
I've never had a joint account. So for me, this conversation can't apply for me because I've never had a joint account. You know what I'm saying? And my bad, Neff, I thought you was trying to say I did have a joint account. I wasn't. That's what it sounded like. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like you said, nah, I'm lying, like I had a joint account with somebody. I've never had a joint account with anybody, ever, in my life. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've disclosed how much I've made a year. I've disclosed how much I make an hour. You know what I'm saying? Especially
has it ever come back to bite you?
Nah. Like I said, your money, my money, my money. Like, if we're doing something, how you discuss your house is how I will discuss just about everything else that we do together financially. Yo, what can you handle? I bet we handling that. You know what I'm saying? If that person go like, but you make this amount of dollars, then that would be a dub, because first of all, don't count my dollars.
And that's what I feel like a lot of the problem be. Because if I say, if you say I make $1,000 and I'm like, well, I make 100, and you're like, I'm only comfortable putting in the 50 you comfortable putting in. It's like, so sometimes not giving that,
Yeah, but that necessarily that means you don't just, that means y'all putting that together there, but you don't know that person's whole finance. Maybe after all that person handles their whole finance, all they could put in is that $50. So
but this is what I'm saying. But you're saying that like, oh, it's not the first date, it's years in, and it's all these things, which is true. So then you wouldn't know they're able to handle these finances one way or the other, no?
No, still in all, you don't know. You could be living with somebody for years and you still don't know all of their finances, especially if they have children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean you know all of their finance and the things that they have to handle. And in a relationship, I honestly don't feel that, especially when both of y'all are bringing in income, that I need to get your permission to handle anything financial on my side if I'm not asking for help financially. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm not coming to you and be like, yo, I got to buy a new car, yo, can you help me out and this and that, then I don't have to disclose, yo, I need a new car because I'm spending this over here and that over there, so I need you to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it draws a line. There has to be a boundary.
There has to be.
With
I
everything.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that, like, what I'm trying to say when I said it's a wall is when I'm trying to say, when you're saying, oh, I can't tell you how much I'm making an hour, or like, what? Like, that's public information. Yeah, I might not know specifically, but I can get a range. So if I can get a range and you can't specifically share your hour with me, then, like, you know, I'm not trying to count your dollars, but I'm just trying to say where you're at financially, what level financially you're on. That's just clarity in a relationship to understand the financial level that the person you're with. I know, Nina, you making your face. I understand. Because
wait, somebody want to
you're not gonna
join.
tell me how many hours a week you make.
yeah.
You want me to tell you how much money I'm bringing home a week?
No, I never said that. I said, oh gosh.
Well, I mean, clarify.
I said how much you make an hour doesn't tell me how much you make a week. That just tells me how much you make an hour. If you tell me you make $50 an hour, that's not telling me, that means she's bringing home $2,000 a week before taxes. That's not telling me.
So then what would be the relevance of knowing that then?
What do you mean? Like I said, it puts you in a financial class. So if we're at the end of the year, we're doing taxes together. All right, boom. So we have this understanding. Your range is going to be in that 30,000 somewhere. My range is going to be in that 30,000 somewhere. We both have that financial understanding of how we're handling our household, how we're bringing in our household. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is. But it's not anything more. We're like, oh, I need to know what you bringing in weekly. Like I said, I know people right now, today, in construction. That's how they do it. They're not handling none of the finances. Their wife works, they work, they come home, they give their check to their wife, they take $200 out for the week to buy lunch and travel. And that's it. Everything else, they letting the wife handle. There are people that do that. That works for them. I'm not saying
I think that's more on I think that's done more on a who's the better budgeter between the two bases. I don't think it has to do with I'm gonna let you count my dollars. I think it's more also of you're better at budgeting, so guess what? I'm gonna take what I need, here go the rest, and you handle everything else. But don't come to me when something needs to be paid, because that's your job.
Wait, what?
Don't come to me when something needs to be paid, because that's your job.
Right? What do you mean? I'm trying to understand.
I took out what I needed out of my check to hold me down for the week, and I gave you the rest of the check to do the bills and everything else with.
Right.
So then all of the bills should be handled. Now, Don't come to me and say, hey, I need an extra $50 to pay the phone bill or whatever, but I gave you my whole check.
That's a whole different conversation, because I'm lost with how they get to that. How did they even get to that?
I'm lost with why you need to know how much I make an hour.
It's public information.
Right.
You keep saying
so
that.
if it's public information, don't ask me. Go find it out in the public. Don't ask me.
So then you see,
find that out. Don't ask
me.
me.
But that's different from saying why I can't pay a bill when you're paying all the check. That's different. That could be 1,000 million reasons why. It could, maybe something popped up and they had to pay this, so they need a little bit more. Like you're putting too much specifics on something that's supposed to be generalized right now. You're talking about your own personal situation. If you're talking about your own personal situation, then be personal about it and say it out loud. Don't cover it up.
Hello, single for 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay, and maybe that's why you got that wall up.
No, I don't have a wall up. I've been in that.
I'm just saying.
Before. It's not a wall.
Okay.
I'm single by choice. I'm not single.
Everybody says that until they want to be in a relationship. Okay.
The shade of it all.
Yo.
We can't be attacking our callers.
Right.
I'm not attacking. I'm being real.
Thanks for calling.
This is an opinion-based broadcast. We said that from the door. We might not agree, but we could respectfully disagree.
You can't call your opinion keeping it real if it's not her reality.
She's single? That's her reality?
Why can't that be a reality? You were never single in your life?
Yeah. What do you mean?
So it's when you started telling people how much you made an hour, that's when you
No,
okay.
But I'm just saying that wall ain't never been up, so I ain't never had that problem.
But you saying it's a wall, people could interpret some of the other things that you've mentioned tonight about finances as a wall.
Like
I'll tell you how much I make an hour, but I'm not going to tell you how many hours I work. I'm not going to tell you how much I make in this time frame and that.
Do you feel like that's a wall?
I personally don't feel like it's a wall the other way around either, though. So I don't agree that. I do agree that I don't think that's a wall, but I don't think it's a wall if you don't feel like just divulging your finances to somebody either.
Divulging somebody that you're in a relationship for years?
Yeah, but you say that like you're not supposed to have any boundaries or just
no, I'm not saying that.
Now all I'm saying is you make it seem like if you have a boundary or a comfort zone about something, that all of a sudden you're creating this like not toxic environment, and I don't necessarily think that's true.
Let me make it clear.
Let me make it clear. Here you go interrupting. So
yes, I am interrupting like you interrupted me.
When we do the playback,
I am interrupting like you interrupted me. Let me, so you don't go for 15 minutes and miss the point. When I'm saying it's a boundary because it's something that is public. It's something where I can go look up and find. But instead of you just telling it to me like, yo, this is what it is for me.
That's like somebody saying, what's your address? I'm not giving you my address because I don't feel comfortable giving it to you. Well, it's public knowledge.
No. People can privatize their address. That does not have to be public. No. Addresses can be private. How much you make as a career profession, that's public information. So if you are like, oh no, I can look it up and be like, oh, yo, it's somewhere between $20 and $25 an hour. But I asked her, she doesn't want to tell me. What? So I have to be like, all right, well, she's in between the 20 and 25.
Yeah. It's public knowledge, right? Why would you Google that? Why would you want to Google how much somebody makes anyway? Never, ever in my life have I done that. Why? It ain't that serious. Because guess what? You can make $150,000 a year and have poor, horrible ass spending skills and have less in your bank account than I do. So I've never felt like, oh, he makes this kind of money. That don't mean nothing, because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to help the household if you're a gambler or you smoke weed every day or any of these other things.
But these are things you want to know with the person that you're in a relationship with, right? You want to know these things, right?
Yeah.
This is okay then. So then if you're in a relationship with somebody that's a gambler, and you're in a relationship with them, you want to know what kind of hole you're going to get yourself in, right? You want to know if they're able to handle their kind of stuff, right?
They can't. They're a gambler. They can't.
I'm just saying, if they're a drug, whatever it is, these are things that you're going to want to know in their relationship, right? These are things that you have to have an understanding, a mutual understanding in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So then it's the same umbrella. It is the same umbrella. The only difference is this is something that I can go look up.
It's not.
You're not.
I don't think you should look it up, but I don't think.
No, I'm not saying you
same range at all. I don't think they even under the same umbrella.
Okay, well, listen, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Thank you, sir. You got rid of our one caller.
Nah, I didn't get rid of her. She felt the way.
Absolutely did.
I didn't get rid of her. She felt the way.
I blame you.
He was talking about her private stuff, but secretly.
No, that was insulted.
What do you mean it was insulted? She said she's single, and I said maybe that's why. I didn't say that's why.
An assumption based on you being a.
It's a maybe. Maybe that is why. Maybe if she didn't have certain type of walls up, her relationship, you know what I'm saying?
But you keep calling it a wall like that's a fact.
I'm not saying that wall. I'm just saying whatever wall she has up is probably why she's.
Why are you affiliating her not wanting to share her finances with a wall?
It's not about sharing your finances. It's about sharing public information about yourself.
Keep saying public information.
I know you felt attacked. I mean, you and your feelings. I would feel attacked if I was you too. You know what I'm saying? If I was in my feelings, I would feel attacked. It's all right.
You don't have to be in your feelings to feel attacked.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. If somebody just attacked you, you in your feelings? No
way. It depends on the type of attack you talking.
Did anybody else feel like he attacked her in here?
Yeah, please.
Show of hands.
Show of hands. Was Was I being straightforward or did I attack her personally?
Attack. Straightforward was everything you said until you insinuated that her finances had something to do with a wall, and that's why she's single.
No. I said maybe. I didn't say.
Listen,
maybe.
Don't try to fucking.
I said maybe.
Split hairs. No.
Listen, no. I said maybe.
No.
I don't know. I ain't dating her. I never tried to date her, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's not. I don't know. I'm saying maybe. And for a lot of people, maybe that what is what it is. If like I'm saying, if I'm dating somebody for a year, I'm gonna just put a year on it. I'm gonna just say 12 months. That's a base relationship that's kind of getting serious, right? I'm dating somebody for a year, and we start talking about finances. I'm like, yo, my tax return coming and shit. I made this amount last year. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I'm making an hour. And I'm like, yo, what you make an hour? And you like, why you need to know that? I'm like, hold on. Hey, what?
You wouldn't answer the question?
Her
asking you a question for clarity would not make you answer the question?
Answer the question. Why I need to know that? It's not that I need to know. It's just a question. It's conversation. This is something that's
not basic general conversation. That's an informative question. You're asking because you want to know what the answer is for something.
No, the conversation was about finance. What are you talking about? I started off talking about my tax return.
What is she
I started talking about what I made.
You started that.
Huh?
If you turned around and said, "Oh yeah, I make so and so an hour," and she was like, "Well, I brought home $75K last year," that's not good enough for you?
Oh no, I'll take that. Okay, that's cool.
As long as you have an amount set.
No, I'm just saying, if that's the conversation and I bring it up because we're talking about finance, right? So obviously our conversation that we're having in this relationship is about finance. That is what our topic is tonight, correct?
So you'd be offended if she didn't want to disclose it?
Obviously, not offended. I would be drawn back. More like, oh, okay. So we have a wall here. We're open with each other. I eat
maybe
her
she
vagina,
has the wall.
She sucks my, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe she has some issue that happens to her that makes her not comfortable wanting to disclose it to you.
Thank you for proving my point. Maybe
I'm talking about your scenario in that moment.
Right.
I personally, so this is why I say, when you say wall, this is where I can't agree. I'll wait.
I'm listening to you, but I'm not.
But I feel like you're being condescending with the laughing. So I'll wait.
So I shouldn't laugh?
Until you be respectful. Yeah, I'll wait.
All right, let me stop laughing. Let me be serious. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I've never had anyone screw me over financially.
Mm-hmm.
It's never happened. However, I feel like I've seen incidents where it's like, maybe I wouldn't have done that. I just personally believe that everyone should be allowed a certain level of privacy when it comes to their finances, when it comes to their emails, when it comes to their phone, things like that. That's just my belief. Not because, I remember that time I went through a phone and now I'm never going to go through a phone again. No, I just feel like I don't want nobody going through my phone. I got dumb shit in there. It's nothing that you could ever go in my phone and be like, oh my God, what? And want to walk out the door. I don't possess anything like that. But I also feel like, let me keep a sense of privacy, a certain level of individuality in my own, right? That's personally how I feel.
Understand.
I also feel like everyone should be extended that. Hence why I've never wanted to have a joint account. But I see the importance of it now when it comes to certain goals. When it comes to household responsibilities, I feel like we're adults. You handle the things you say you're going to handle. I'm going to handle the things I say I handle. If the conversation never came up where anyone directly said, hey, how much do you make an hour? I've never just felt the need to divulge it. I have had people who casually, not even people that I've dated, but who casually be like, flight attendant, what they start off at? I'm not going to tell you how much I make. I'm going to tell you how much I started off at. And, it may be different now because when I started, it was X amount of years ago, and that's how much we made then. And now it's closer to whatever. And that's pretty much the range. But, they max out at $50 an hour, whatever it may be, or whatever. I keep it very general just because I feel like that's my personal information. I've never had anybody that I've dated, even seriously, ask me how much I bring home every year, or ask me how much I made last year, or it's never come up in that casual of a conversation. And like I said, maybe because I've made it very clear that, okay, I don't really do the whole joint account. No one's felt like venturing into that realm. But if it ever came to the joint account, which I think we're pretty close to maybe doing, it's more of a savings. Hey, put in this much, I put in this much. We like to take vacations. We're saving up for certain things. So that's why I personally don't divulge all that information. But if there's some people who want on the first date to want to know how much you make, third date, fourth date, that's on them. And if you feel comfortable doing it, by all means do it. I personally don't feel like that's something that I'm gonna do.
My bad.
So
These iPhones, I'm not a fan of the iPhones.
me neither.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using one right now.
Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah. All right, my bad. Sorry. You was at the point where you said where you feel like your joint accounts is
Oh no, I kept talking. You're gonna have to watch the review.
All right, cool. It's all
I kept talking.
It's all good. It's all good. But I missed. It's all right. You know.
Yeah. It wasn't too far off of what I already said for the evening, so it's not like, you missed a lot.
But like I said, if you're having these financial conversations, right, and it does come to a point where you feel like something is too private, that can bring up a wall in your relationship, especially if the other person is feeling comfortable divulging this information.
Do you feel like that could be said for other things? Like we compared it, when I try to compare it to the phone thing, you was like, oh, hell no, it don't compare. But can't the phone thing be a thing? If I feel like I have no problem with you using my phone or looking through my phone if you feel like it, but you feel like that's a hard no, I don't know if I would necessarily go as far as to say, oh, you got a wall. Something must have happened. It could just be you like a certain level of privacy, and it's not affecting you being single or not.
All right.
It could just be
maybe.
what you prefer.
Maybe. But what if that person says, yo, nah, look, I ain't doing nothing, but in my phone, you're going to see stuff that it might make you feel away. So I don't want you to look in my phone. Are you still going to press the issue? Now you're going to be like, oh, wait, what kind of stuff would make me feel away? Like,
are you going to divulge? Are you saying you should divulge that you do have things that'll look bad?
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that they make it known in their relationships like, yo, listen, don't go through my phone because the stuff you're going to see in my phone, it might not be current, but it might make you feel away because it's the stuff that's in my phone. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of stuff in my phone that it might make you feel like, yo, why you still have this in your phone? But it's my phone. Like you said, it's your personal space still. So if I'm going to share my personal space with you, it has to be a judgment-free. And if I know you're not capable of being judgment-free, then I'm going to have an issue with sharing that personal part about because it's going to cause a problem that's not necessary.
Maybe that could be why some people don't want to divulge their financial information too. Judgment-free.
Then you won't be having this financial conversation, and then this whole conversation wouldn't be what you're having.
Why not?
Because why would you, if you're not interested in divulging financial conversation, you're gonna shut financial conversation down early. You're gonna be like you said, it hasn't happened to you because you make it clear I'm not interested in those type of things. So if we're gonna be doing stuff together, let me know what you can do. I'll let you know what I can do. You make that clear. That's your financial communication with the people that you've been with or the person that you're with that you made clear. So there's that understanding. It won't feel like a wall because you are clear about it. It's right. Simple, like the same way with the phone where I'm like, yo, I'm clear. My phone has stuff where you're not going to like.
But I feel like you've been putting in details in it that the finances don't have. If you just hit them with the, you know what, for my own privacy and my own individuality, I don't think you need to go through my phone. But when you start adding the, oh, you can't use that. That's like me saying, I don't want to share my financial stuff with you because, sometimes I'll be going out drinking and gambling. And if you see that, it's going to make you feel some type of way. I don't feel like you should go, I don't want to say keep secrets, but if that's what it is, you might not want to divulge all of that. But with the phone thing, it's real simple to be like, you know what? I respect your privacy. I want you to respect mine. I will never go through your phone. Now, I'd appreciate if you never go through mine, just because, you know, if we need to be in a place of trust with each other, and if we not, then going through the phone is not going to help you gain that trust that you're so desperately looking for, because you don't have it right now. That's different than saying, I got some shit in there, you ain't gonna like it. That's different.
However somebody says it, listen, your communication and my communication will be different.
Yeah, but there's a difference in the message you're trying to deliver.
No, there's a difference in the way you're receiving it.
No, not necessarily in the message you're trying to get across. That's where it's different.
You might feel that way. I know people that's how that's like I said, I'm not talking about me personally. I'm talking about people that I know that's
people,
how
what message are they trying to get across by saying it?
Listen, they trying to make it clear. If you're somebody that like to go through phones, my phone is not one of those phones you want to go through. Point blank, period. However,
I feel like you set the person up to distrust you when you make statements like that.
That's how you feel.
Just like with I just said, that's how I feel.
Right.
That's how I started it. I feel
right.
Like,
and I'm making it clear. That's how you feel, and it's okay.
You're making it clear to me, who just said that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to reiterate to me what I said.
Exactly. Because I'm trying to tell you, that's how you feel. That might not be how the people who they're saying it to feel.
Yeah, that's different. If you're saying you feel that way, they may not. That's different. But you don't got to tell me what I feel. I just said it.
Right.
I feel like when you started like that, just like with the finances, you create a space of distrust. Not saying that your intentions are bad, but delivery has a lot to do with it, because now you're creating kind of like an image, or you're putting it out there that it's already going to be all bad. You know what I mean? Like,
it probably is. Like, this person who I'm talking about, I know the stuff that's in their phone. It is really bad. So they're making it clear on the level of how bad it is. So don't do it. They're making it clear. If you want to, I think that's more honest than anything, to make it that clear. So you're saying it's creating a space of distrust with them being honest?
No,
okay.
But there's a, first of all, there's no place of trust if you already know the shit in your phone is going to cause distrust. You know what I mean? Like, if you started with, oh, I'm being so brutally honest, I feel like there is a level of tact that can be used. There's a level of being respectful. I feel like there's a level of you're not gonna look at if somebody show you their baby and they're not the cutest, you're not gonna be like, fuck that ugly baby. You know what I'm saying? You still have to use tact and be a
but you might say, who baby this? Nah.
Huh? Right. Even regardless of what you think, there's this level of tact that you should use when you talk to people, regardless. So even if you feel like, you know what, if she go through my phone, it's gonna be, World War III up in here. You could feel like that. But if you inform her of that, you are already creating a place of distrust. And it's not by you being honest. It is by you being honest, but it's by you being honest about being untrustworthy. You don't get credit.
That's not being untrustworthy by saying that the stuff is in my phone that you're not going to like to see. That doesn't necessarily mean that stuff that I'm doing now. That doesn't necessarily mean
now, later, 5 years ago, it doesn't matter. If you already feel like by them watching it or looking at it, yet you continue to have it, and then inform them that you have it and will keep it, and if they did see it, it would cause problems. I feel like that's very disrespectful. And as a matter of fact, it kind of shows a lack of feeling for the other person. Because you can have, listen, girls got dick pics in their phone. They don't necessarily be like, don't go in there, you're going to see a whole lot of dick. No, it's just.
Nah, but if they was like, yo, don't go in there because there's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't want to see.
Or how about don't go on my phone? I don't appreciate anybody going through my phone, period. That's it.
No matter how you say it, you see, look, you can say it however you want to say it, but like how you receive it is going to be how you receive it. You saying that could still be like, then, oh, that could be the level of distrust. Oh,
so what you're saying is, regardless of how you say it, it could be regarded the same way. So you might as well be disrespectful with it.
No, it's the people is the people who they are. You know who you're dealing with.
Disrespectful.
You know who they are. Some people
Yep.
might say it like this. Some people might say it like that. You feel personally, like you said, you take that as disrespectful. The person who they talking to might take that as, okay, they're being straightforward with me. It's all that's how you feel.
They're being straightforward with me. Now I'm about to have a bunch of dicks in my phone too.
Yo.
We keeping it real over here.
Hey,
right?
listen.
Yes.
However you feel to divulge what you feel, like I said, that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna take it, and it's the same thing when, like I said, with finance. If you go like, yo, and when I'm saying with public information, because it is public information. Yes, specifically, I might not know what you're making specifically an hour, but I can get a range. So if I can get a range and you can't tell me where in that range you fall in, it feels like you are, being kind of shady. It feels like you being kind of like, this is stuff that everybody can know. All of the people at your job know. Everybody who you work with knows. Like she said, she dated somebody she worked with, and he knew exactly how much she was making. It's public information. Everybody at your job knows. So I'm not at your job, so I can't know. But I'm in your bed.
Yep, pretty much.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, nothing.
So then your work husband can get the body too?
Pictures in your phone, and you saw. This is what I don't understand: the double standard. Oh, you don't trust me. You're not telling me exactly how much you make. How preposterous and outrageous. But you should take it with a grain of salt if I tell you I got a bunch of fucked up ass pictures in my phone and I don't want you going in it because you're going to find some shit that's going to hurt your feelings like that.
Not public information.
Your realm of how you think, oh my God.
It's not public information. In my phone is not public information.
If it's public, then be happy with whatever you found.
Everybody at my job not gonna know what's in my phone. All my friends are not gonna know what's in my phone.
So what? The bitches in your phone know they in your phone. The bitches on the phone know they on the phone.
No, they don't.
Bitches can know what's in your phone.
Maybe.
I can't know what's in the phone.
Maybe they know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. You don't know.
Yeah. How they get it? If a girl sends you a picture,
okay,
you don't know what's in your phone?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she don't know you kept it. Maybe, who knows? A girl sent you a picture a year ago. She don't know that picture, and you don't talk to her. She don't know that picture's still in your phone.
Trust me, she assumes
if you got a sex tape with somebody from
people don't be deleting pictures like that.
If you got a sex tape with somebody from 3 years ago, and you're in a relationship this year, and that person doesn't necessarily know, oh, yo, I'm still in their phone with their sex.
Why not?
What do you mean?
Why not?
How are they gonna know? They're not in contact with you.
Why wouldn't they assume you have it?
They could assume you have it. They could assume you don't have it, but they don't know.
Yeah. So what? Just like you don't know how much she make out.
Yeah, but everybody else does.
Yeah, and everybody else who you told about the damn picture in the phone know too. Out of here.
Yo, listen, man. Like I said, that's not public information. What's in your phone? So
neither is her pay rate.
It is public information.
You can guess.
It is public information. You can hope that
you're in the right range, but you don't know it.
It's public information.
It's not.
It's public information. I know her range is public.
That's not.
I know what you could make annually. That's public information.
That's not specific to her.
It's not specific to her
it's specific
to her as far as range.
There it is. You're gonna have to deal with range.
Knowing what I make an hour is not still specific either, because I could work this amount this week and that amount that week.
Yeah, so then you don't get a fucking cookie for telling me how much
you get
make
a range.
An hour if I don't know how much you make for the whole damn year or anything like that.
You still get a range.
If you're not giving me useful information for whatever it is we're trying to get to, then keep the little crumbs that you're keeping, because it's not helping me. So if I tell you, oh, I make $25 an hour, but I don't tell you how many hours I work. I don't tell you how many weeks I work. What you gonna do with that?
I got a range.
Nothing.
No, I got a range of what your annual will look like.
If you know how many hours I work.
No. I get a range. You base it off of a regular work week.
So then if you could have got a range online and Google it, why do you feel happy hearing what I'm telling you an hour?
Because, like I said, if I have to go look up public information when you can just tell me, if you be like, yo, I ain't gonna.
But I'm not
hour, but I tell you what I make.
There's
Yeah.
no useful information by me telling you how much I make an hour if nothing else comes with it. That's just like telling you how many hours I work a week without telling you how much I make in that hour. Like, this information is useless unless it comes with this information. So by you saying, oh, I can tell her that I made $80 an hour, she don't know how many hours you work, like you stated earlier. So what would be the benefit of her you disclosing that amount just to say it for that moment?
She can get a raise.
How does that financially help y'all? How does that help y'all
plan
out what y'all trying to do? How does that help y'all come to certain goals?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't.
It does. If you're having a financial conversation, it does, because she can get a range.
What's the range if you work 10 hours a week and she don't know that?
What?
What's the range if you only work $10 10 hours a week, but she doesn't know that?
What do you mean? I'm confused.
Oh my God, how you confused now?
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
If you tell her, I'm gonna bring it down slower.
Yeah, please.
You tell her I make $80 an hour.
Yeah.
She's like, great, but you don't provide her with how many hours you work.
Yeah.
She can't do anything with that information, and it doesn't benefit the need for y'all to even join that financial information or bring it up, because the reason behind it is to do what? Not like grow financially or make up a plan financially. So when you say, well, why you can't tell me how much you make an hour, but I don't got to tell you how many hours I work? What is the benefit of learning how much the hourly rate is without it going hand in hand with how many hours a week you work or how many hours you put in for the month or the year, whatever? What would be
because you can get a generalization.
You cannot get a general idea, because the assumption would be that he works between 30 hours if he part-time to 40. But if you work 10 hours, that doesn't give me a range of shit. My range is going to be up here and you going to be down here.
You work 10 hours a week. Is that what you're saying? Or
just like you said, you work 2 hours a week last time. Remember
overtime.
When you put the point up?
You're talking about overtime.
You didn't say overtime.
Yes, I did say
you
overtime.
You said if I work 2
hours overtime this week and 12 hours overtime next week.
Again, so you're saying that you would divulge how many hours you worked.
No, you confused. You confused with what I was saying.
You're confusing.
No, I said if I say I'm making $40 an hour, and this week I work 2 hours overtime, and next week I work 12. If I say I work 40 hours a week, and I'm telling you I make $75,000 a year,
so you just did say for the first time that you work 40 hours a week. You did not say.
Hold on. $40. $40.
40 hours. You didn't say 40 hours a week.
No. $40 an hour is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm a little tipsy. Anyway, $40 an hour. If I'm making $40 an hour and $75,000 in a year, you don't know whether this week I work 2 hours overtime or next.
It doesn't matter. You told me how much you worked in a year.
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm not gonna break down what you make every week.
All right. So that's my point, and that's what I said. I said if you can tell me what you make annually, then what you make an hour doesn't matter.
What?
If you tell me what you make annually, then what you tell me what you make an hour doesn't matter.
When did you say that?
Oh gosh.
Yo, there gotta be people in here that's hearing this, because
when you look back, you're gonna see it.
Oh, I will.
I didn't hear
I
that.
hope you do too.
I mean, Nene, you only heard what you want to hear, so.
Now everybody else against you, and I'm telling you,
nah.
If you admit you was tipsy, maybe you meant to say it, but you did not say that.
Look, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't hear it. My bad. I'm gonna wait for that text. Anyway, like I said, you make $40 an hour, $75 for the year. That's your divulge right there. But if you're telling me, oh, I'm not telling you how much I make an hour.
Listen, if you said that in the beginning, we wouldn't have had half the conversation.
Yo.
Because you kept saying, I don't have to tell you how many hours I work if I tell you how much I make in an hour. That's what you said.
Right, because you can get your range.
Oh, overtime. Wait, we didn't even talk about overtime.
Really?
We wasn't even talking about overtime. So I'm like, what are you talking about now? You're saying overtime.
When I said 2 hours and 12 hours, I said overtime. I said 2 hours overtime this week, 12 hours overtime next week. You can't get a generalization.
You would then say how much you work on a regular week.
I mean, yeah, you would say that.
Yeah, I'm saying that if you don't, none of the information is relevant.
Not if you tell me what you make annually.
Listen, Janine, you're here. Did he ever mention that he was only talking about overtime and that he would divulge how much hours he worked a week?
I never said I'll divulge how much hours I work a week.
Or did you just assume that everybody assumed that it was 40 hours? Because some people don't work 40 hours.
Nah, you can get, that's what I said, you can get a range. Some people work 30 hours, some people work 40 hours. Some people work 35 hours.
That's a wide range.
Right? That is a wide, but you get an understanding of what level you're on. If you tell me you're making $23 an hour, I get a range of where you're at.
By what?
What do you mean? By understanding whether you work in a full week or you work in a part week.
How would you know that?
What do you mean, how would you know that?
But the same way you just told me she would never know if I work 2 hours overtime or 12 hours overtime. How would you know I work a 30-hour week as opposed to a 40 or 50-hour week?
Okay. When you say I'm working part-time, you understand a part-time range. When you say I'm working full-time, you understand a full-time range.
Who said any of that in the beginning of
you're having a financial conversation with somebody that you're with. How do you not know these things?
You just said she wouldn't even know if you work 12 extra overtime hours next week. So why is it in your scenario it's okay to be blind to shit? But when I'm telling you, if you don't divulge certain things, especially if y'all don't live together where a bitch could clock your every hour, then yes, I don't care if you're having a financial conversation with somebody. You could be with someone for 1-2 years and not live with them, and they check you off when you leave in the morning because they got their own shit going on, check you off when you finish. Just like she can't tell that you work 2 hours overtime, she can't tell next week you work 12 hours overtime.
Listen, you're in a relationship with somebody for a year. You don't know whether they're working part-time, full-time, or don't.
Yeah, I'm glad he got muted. Look, Instagram muted you for a reason.
No, that's, like I said, no, that's not Instagram. That's my iPhone about to die. I got to get my charger. These iPhones don't last long.
Let me hear this bullshit.
Anyway, like I said, if you're dating somebody for over a year and you don't know whether they work full-time, part-time, or have no job, then what are you doing? What is the even point of having a financial conversation? Why are you having a financial conversation?
What about the dingbat that you talking to who don't know if you worked 2 hours overtime last week and 12 hours the next week?
What are you talking about? These are things
the same idiot.
You can't know those things. Those are things that you can't know because you're not clocking somebody every single hour.
So 30 hours a week and 40 hours a week, that's going to be significant that you're going to know
if they're part-time, they're in that range. If they're full-time, they're in this range. That's the amount of hours you work.
Part-time goes from what to what?
From I think it's from 20 to 30. 20 hours to 30 hours a week is part-time.
So that's a wide enough range that no, you would not know. Just like she wouldn't know your 12 hours of OT.
What? If you tell me that,
I'm trying to.
What you won't know? Why wouldn't you know? If you tell me you work, you work part-time. You work part-time, 20 hours a week.
Because I can't.
Hold on.
Did he say that when he's working, she wouldn't know if he did 2 hours? Now he's saying 2 hours of OT. She wouldn't notice 2 hours of OT this week or 12 hours next week.
Yes.
But now, what kind of person wouldn't notice the difference
part-time
between 20 hours and 30 hours? You just only 10 hours.
Conversation.
Difference. You gave yourself 12 hours difference. But the person in my scenario has to know, but the dingbat in your scenario wouldn't know the difference in 12 missing hours.
Regular hours. Overtime and regular hours are two different things.
The difference is noticing how many hours are worked. So whether I am part-time and I'm doing 30 and full-time and doing 40, as opposed to your 12 hours of OT the next week, how would the person not see the difference in your 12 hours, but they're going to definitely know the difference in my 10 hours?
How would the person?
Listen, you drunk.
I'm making sure I am clear when I answer your.
Why? You ain't been clear this whole time.
Because you guys are saying things, and then when you look back, you're gonna realize, like, oh shit.
Boy.
Anyway, you're saying, right? You work in 20 hours part-time, because I know you work a part-time job or a full-time job. These are questions you're going to have, right? You're going to know if your person is working or not, right? You do ask the person that you're dating, do you have a job, right? That's okay, right? That's okay to divulge, right? No?
I don't know. I guess I feel like for you to make your point, you have to go to the extreme. So
I'm asking you a question.
No, you're asking a dumbass question because we're talking about finances and working. So why all of a sudden?
So then I would know
asking me now in the conversation if the person even has a job.
I want to make sure that we're clear because you're trying to
so condescending.
I'm making sure that we are clear. It's not a dumb question to make sure that we're clear.
We weren't clear on that before. We don't have.
All right, so then we do know whether the person's working full time.
Let's just go with the part-time and full-time because
okay.
part-time or full-time.
So then we do know whether the person is working full-time, part-time, or has no job. We know this, right? So then we have a base understanding of how much hours a week they should be working because of their part-time or full-time status of job. Now, with that, you know how much they make an hour. So they have $21 an hour and they're working part-time. So you have a range from 20 to 30 hours times 20, and you do that for the year. You have a range of what they make for the year. Now, whether they work 2 hours overtime this week and 12 hours overtime next week, that you won't know. That information you won't know, but you will have a range, a base range of what they should be making a year annually, working regular hours.
So person you're in a long-term relationship with wouldn't know if you worked overtime because why again? I'm sorry.
What do you
mean? I didn't get that part.
Nobody's clocking everybody, what everybody does all day, every day. Your person could get off of work and do something and not go straight home. Your person could run the streets. Your person could be at work, and when they leave work, they go straight home today. So you're not gonna know what your person is doing at every.
So if they say part-time, you're not gonna ask specific part-time. You're just gonna assume it's in this range.
It's in this range.
And then you're gonna find out how the range of how much they could
and that's
make
your base.
in that position, and then you can go like she makes between 20,000 and 65,000. So I'm in a good enough range that I understand she must be in that
range.
And that's good enough for you.
But I mean, if we're having the financial conversation, that's good enough, point blank, period.
Okay, that is a $40,000 to $45,000 difference.
Cool. And
that
like I said, if you feel in your relationship that saying how much you make an hour is too much information, even though it's public information.
Oh my God, with the public.
I'm saying though, it is public information. If you feel that that's too much for you to tell your partner, then like I said, you leave it to your partner to go, let me get a base of what type of financial person that I'm dealing with, what type of financial range this person that I'm dealing with. Let me go. What's the relevance to the? We're having a whole financial conversation. That's the relevance of it.
What is the relevance? That doesn't answer the question. That's just repeating.
That's like saying, what's the relevance of having a whole financial conversation? We're having a financial conversation.
I'm asking you that. Okay, so I'm asking you that.
What's the relevance of having the financial conversation? Okay, whatever it is that we needed to do. We're sharing our finance. We're planning to do things with our finance together. Whatever the reason for you having your financial conversation. Our topic is financial conversation. So they're at a point where they're having these financial conversations. If I'm having a financial conversation with you, but you can't divulge what your financial status is, you're telling me, oh, no, that's too much information. Go look it up. Or you don't need to know that. I can handle this and you can handle that.
Who said that?
I'm just
Nobody
saying.
Here.
Listen.
You paraphrase it to fit your narrative. No one said that here.
No, you said that.
You said but based on what Nene told you she felt comfortable with, well, he could just go look it up. Nobody ever said, well, that's too much information. Go look it up. You said that. You want to go watch back the footage, sir?
Oh, you're saying that I said that it's too much information to divulge?
No, you said that. No one here said that.
I said that it's too much?
No, you said that that's what she meant. Once she said, you know, I don't put out my finances like that. You said, what? That's too much information? She never said that. You said that as a way of like paraphrasing what she said. And she kept telling you, that's not what I said. You kept saying, it's public information.
Yeah, she's not saying how much an hour.
Before you said that, no one even thought that someone goes online and Googles how much a person makes. That wasn't even in the conversation. You introduced that into the conversation, and now you're running with that narrative of information. Now you're running with the narrative of, oh, that's too much to tell me. You telling me go look it up on Google? Nobody said that.
No, you're not saying that in those words. You're saying that, oh, I can tell you what my profession is. I can tell you where I work at, but I can't tell you how much I make an hour. So
all of that you probably already know if you're having a financial conversation.
What?
That sounds very literal. So you're going to wait till you're with the person for all this time and you're not going to know where they work or anything, their position.
Listen, like I said, this is the conversation we're having, a financial conversation.
Yes.
So then if you're having that financial conversation, we don't know where they're at in their financial conversation. We're not saying, oh.
Exactly. You made it seem like you have to be with the person for years and, oh, we're here together in this relationship for years. No one even said if it was 2 months in, 3 months in, like nobody gave a time frame. You did. And then you ran with it.
I had great family. I had great friends. But internally, it was very...
Yo, listen. Right?
I'm just saying.
Yo, listen, like I said, right? We're having a financial conversation, and I'm like, how much you make an hour? And you're like, you don't need to know that.
I think many other things have to be factors in that conversation.
Yeah.
That's my own personal.
We're having a financial conversation. I ask you how much you make an hour, and you're not telling me? What are you talking about? What are you saying? What is your point?
Am I saying?
Exactly. What are you saying?
Is it what am I actually saying or what you're taking from what I'm saying? Which one? Because just like your homeboy with the phone who's gonna be offended if she read it, if I'm being brutally honest and I'm telling you, you know what? I don't feel comfortable telling you how much I make right now. Well, I am comfortable telling you how much I'm comfortable contributing. I know where we could be financially together. But that information, I just feel like we're not there yet. And I'm glad we're having this conversation. But, you know, I'm good with $500 a month. Can you do that? Can you meet me there? Can we collectively get there? And if it comes to a point where you directly ask me, it's up to me whether I divulge that information. What I started today's conversation was I've never just volunteered that information, and I've never had anyone come and directly ask me. I'm pretty sure there's an understanding of the range I fall in. And like I said, with the taxes, it was very transparent this year, which was a first for me. I have no problem with it. But it wasn't something I was like, oh, I can't wait to go look at his papers and see what it is. Never. And I'm sure it wasn't the other way around. He just happened to pick up my papers and saw my return and was like, let me hold something. You know, we joked about it. But it's never oh my God, keep it secret, it's so private. No, it's just never something where like, let's bring out our tax returns and let's just start comparing notes. We never did that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't feel like the conversation is determined by how long you've been together. If you're together 3 months and y'all trying to save up for vacation, well, I gotta tell you all my damn financial secrets when we might not last till the vacation come around.
Maybe.
If we get together for a year, you probably know if I'm full-time or part-time by the hours that I leave the house and the hours I come back Just like I
Maybe.
would notice with you, without necessarily have to ask you directly, do you work full time? Do you work part time? I noticed. I know that when I met you, you was part time, and now you got a full time position. That's not something that I feel like every time it's these specific details hammering. That's my opinion. But I also feel like people go through things that cause them to feel that way as well. And that's fine, as long as the other person is fine with it too. Whatever works for y'all situation, make it work for y'all situation.
Agreed.
Don't get, caught up in what other people are doing, because when they get burned and you're not burned and vice versa, nobody can say, oh, well, I listen to you and I'm following you and that's why I'm doing this and that and that. I know married people, joint everything. Credit cards, shared, this, that. I've just never felt like that's a necessary step to take.
Yeah,
Me
I agree.
personally.
I agree with you because I
Me
feel the same
personally.
way. I'm
We
not,
can do a joint, and we, like I said, for the specific reasons or specific things, that's fine.
Right.
If we want to establish businesses and business credits, and we're using the cards to get points and, create a better relationship with our bank, I get that. As long as we're transparent, we're good.
Right.
For all that other connected at the waist and the hip and the thing, listen, you handle your stuff, I'll handle mine. If I need a little help from you or you need a little help from me, that's what we're here for. We're going to help each other get to a good place. But I feel like it comes more from trust, comes from good habits, and it comes from being honest with each other, not having access to all my shit and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because people could find a way when they need to find a way. That's like some people who video chat they man all day or they girl all day. Guess what? She got 5 minutes in the bathroom and she want to do something, she gonna do it. All that checking up and checking in and checking on, that shit don't work. So
let me ask you something.
Yes.
Do you feel that telling how much you make in a year is too personal to somebody that you're dating?
I feel like sometimes as women, when you divulge a certain amount of information, depending on the guy that you're talking to or getting to know, and like I said, some of it is based on time and experience with them, sometimes their antennas go up when they hear certain things. And then it's like, this sounds like a comfy couch. I'm telling you the truth, because there's niggas that couch surf and always looking for the better opportunity with the next girl. And I'm sorry to say, single mothers become a target. I've heard one too many horror stories. So I think depending on how early it is, I don't feel like you should divulge a certain amount of things. It's impressive sometimes when you want to be braggadocious, whatever, but sometimes it comes with real consequences. So I just think as people, period, men, women, because women do, go after men for what they got, I think you should keep certain things to yourself.
Okay.
Early on. As the trust comes and stuff like that comes, sometimes you could tell a little bit, people be faking what kind of restaurants y'all go to, what kind of stuff, happens. It kind of gives you a little bit of idea, but some people lie.
So answer to your question is, you feel that early on, like how Val Casey said, early on, that's too much information to be divulging. That's how you feel, right?
I do feel like
okay. Now, in that same sense, do you feel that if they ask you, what do you do and where do you work and what's your position, is that too much information as well?
I feel like if it's something, I think it would depend on where you work. You see how with your job, you could say, oh, I work construction. There's no psycho stalker ability to come find your ass. But if I say I work Macy's on 34th Street, I might not want to say all of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I feel like you do have to kind of give a little bit more as time goes on. But if you say, oh, I work, in retail, or I work at a Macy's or whatever.
I'm a manager at a Macy's.
Why do you want to know all my business? Oh no, I just met you. Like I kind of know how to do that. Sorry.
Okay. So all right. So somebody asks you that, in the beginning, you feel that that's too much information as well.
Is somebody what?
Somebody asks you, like what kind of job you have, what's your position? You feel like in the beginning that's too much information as well.
What's your job and what's your position?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would keep it very general. No, baby, I got stuff to talk about. I feel like in the beginning, there's certain things I guess I just hold private, just because I have known psycho people and crazy people and shit like that. And I've seen people have experiences that weren't great based on just giving general information. Like you said, oh, I work at Macy's downtown Brooklyn. Before you know it, you got a full-blown stalker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but as far as giving location, but I'm not talking about location. No location.
I personally haven't had too much of that, because when I tell people I'm a flight attendant, you don't know where the fuck I'm gonna be.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Like I'm trying to say, I'm not talking about location. Location is irrelevant. I'm not talking about location. I'm talking about position, your occupation, and the position in your occupation. Like me, I'm a shop steward union. I'm a union construction shop steward. That's my occupation and my position. If we're on a date and you're like, yo, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm a union construction shop steward. Is that's too much information to be divulging?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now, with that being said, the same way that they can look up what you annually make.
He had to listen.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Questions to get a yes. However,
that was my point.
Here's where the reach is. You never say what union you work in.
No.
You never say how.
No.
Wait.
Right.
You never say what union. You never said
Local 79.
Right. You never said all that. You never said how long you've been doing it. You didn't say what you came in, earning. So even though you're being very general,
right,
it's not as specific as you think you're being. So when they look up Google, how much does they're gonna find such a wide range that I don't feel like it puts you in a bad place. You get what I'm saying? So I know where you were trying to go.
Not trying to go, is where I went.
But I feel like the answer you gave, as far as like, oh, I'm a shop steward, blah, 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 it doesn't give enough information for that to be harmful or to be used against you, or for somebody to kind of be all up in your business too early on. That's my opinion.
And you feel that by saying, oh, I make $22 an hour or I make $45 an hour, that's being harmful and giving up too much information.
Are we talking about long-term?
No, we're talking about, all right, boom. So let's just say.
If you're early on, why do you need to know the finance?
Hold on. Everything
you should be asking a position because you want to have a conversation about what the person does, not because you want to find out how much they make at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, some people, potatoes. They might be trying to find that out, and they might be trying to find that out as well. So, like, that's specifics. We're going to skip past that. We're not going to go into the...
Of course we will.
We're not going to go into specifics because specifics make it personal. We're not trying
Like shop steward? That's pretty...
No, shop steward doesn't make it personal. There's many shop stewards.
That's not specific enough that they could get a range?
I mean, like you said, they can get a range. Yes, they can. But like they said, you'll have to know what union I'm in. You'll have to know what trade I'm in. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what city my union is in, and that range for shop stewards. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is specific, but it needs more information to give all the specifics personal to me. You understand?
So do you feel like it's a wall if you gave a general answer like that?
No. If you gave a general answer, no. But to give a no answer or to say, no, I'm not answering that, that's too personal, or I'm not answering that.
So what if the next question is, oh, how much do you make an hour?
You're a parent out there. Should you be talking to your kids? What do you suggest?
Did your mic go out? What happened?
Nah, I paused it. Hold on. I put you on mute.
Lies.
I did. I put you on mute. Hold on, son. I'm gonna answer you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
If her parents want to ask your kids,
And then he had to ask me till he got an answer that suited his narrative. How manipulative.
or to the community.
Not manipulative.
Man.
No, getting my point across, point blank, period, like I always do. Anyway, like I said, what was the question?
Or not.
Okay.
I was interrupted.
Let's hit a Val. I know what Val does.
Or your
Val has also been in a long relationship.
Yeah.
How soon
listen to that.
How soon do you feel like you give all that financial information up? And is there a point of having too much of a share when it comes to your finances? Val, what do you say?
To the kid who is,
We'll wait.
Well, I'll answer your question while we're waiting for him. Yeah, there is a
I
point.
didn't even ask you.
It's all good because
already
while we're
asked
waiting,
you the question.
I don't want an uncomfortable
For the
silence.
headaches. Now, we want to respectfully give Val the
I am-
silence.
No, it's all good. While Val is answering, I'll give it up. So yeah, there is a point where
Oh, she been in a relationship longer than me. And she don't think her man even know.
and
hey,
That's not a wall.
listen, that's her situation.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Hey,
Why you ain't
look,
blasting her?
I don't
Wait,
know.
wait.
Look,
She's
hold
not
on. I don't know her situation, and I don't know
You
her
don't know
man.
Mimi's either.
Her
You
man could be a
blasting her
sucker.
ass?
Her man could be a sucker. There's sucker niggas out there, and sucker niggas do sucker niggas shit. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, but I'm just
That's mad disrespectful. What are you
I'm
talking
saying I
about?
don't
Too
know.
late.
I'm just saying I don't know. So I can't have you know her. I don't. So I can't have an opinion on how her situation is working for her.
But you had one
Huh?
when Mimi was.
No, I
just
didn't.
on-
I said maybe. I said maybe that's why. I didn't. Like I said, I don't know her nigga. But if that's how that works for her, like I said, there's sucking niggas out there that just be like, yo, look, I'm going to just pay for everything. My woman shouldn't pay for nothing. I'm going to make sure it doesn't matter. And they, a lot of times, those are the niggas that get fucked over. I'm not one of them dudes. That's not ever going to be me.
Why are you so
What does
judgmental?
But what does what I make have to do with who pays for us going
And
out?
who's a
What does
sucker?
what does that have to do with it?
Hold on, what?
What is
who's a
how much
sucker?
I
Hold on, I
make?
want to hear a Nene question.
What does how much I make have to do with who's paying for what when we go out? We go out
And who's a
today, I'm
sucker?
paying for it. We go out tomorrow, you
Exactly.
pay for it. We go out Saturday, I pay for it. What does that have to do with how much I make?
That has nothing to do with how much you make, but that wasn't a question we was talking about.
What was the question?
We was talking about financial conversation and you not divulging how much you make an hour.
But you
That was
just
the
now
statement
said
that you just
he's
made.
a sucker ass nigga,
You
and they got
just
suckers
said
that
that.
pay
That's
for
why I
Yeah,
everything.
said that.
they
You
got
just said what
suckers
that
that
gotta
pay
do with
for
it.
everything. What are you talking
What that got to do with anything?
What do you mean?
Finances.
What?
What that got to do with him knowing how much her finances is? If he's just a nice guy, we don't call them suckers. We call them nice
I know
guys.
that's what y'all call them.
That's what we call them over here, nice guys. But you
Or
get a
tricks.
nice guy
We know what
who
y'all call them for real.
earns enough that he feels comfortable
Right.
paying for things without knowing how much you make or not. Y'all can make the same amount.
Right.
That's just how he is.
Right.
And he pays for everything.
Okay.
What does that have to do with, one, him being a sucker, but two, needing to know her financial status?
Yo, listen. We building together, Whether we both making the same amount, I could still know that and still pay for everything. That would be him being a nice guy. Him not knowing or not even caring to know, or knowing that if he asks, it might be a problem. Sucker ass niggas. That's what I said. I don't know her
if
situation.
he knows, wait, let me get this straight. If he knows how much you make and is still willing to pay,
That's a nice guy.
that's not a sucker.
No.
That's a nice guy.
That's a nice guy.
But if he doesn't know,
Yeah.
and he still pays,
Yeah.
he's a sucker.
He's a sucker.
You are a listen.
Yeah.
You a dumbass tonight. That's
Well, I
what
mean,
you are.
listen. Thank you.
Because
Thank
that
you.
makes no sense.
Why?
As a matter of fact, most girls will probably say it's the other way around. Most guys might say that too. Oh, we make the same amount, and I know this girl is holding, and I'm just gonna pay for everything. That sounds more sucker to me than anything
No,
else.
that sounds like the nice guy.
Lies.
That sounds like the nice guy because he
Lies.
knows. Because he knows. The sucker's the one who don't
if
know.
You make
The
less,
sucker's the one who has no idea what he's doing, just doing it. That's the sucker.
That's not true.
Yes, it is,
There
because those are
many
the dudes that
suckers.
most of the time
Listen,
they
there
get
are
effed over.
many guys who know that they're getting played as suckers and gladly take on the role. Please stop it.
Well, okay.
Please stop.
Hold on.
Please stop men
Hold on,
making
hold on,
men the
hold on.
victims
Hold
of
on,
shit.
hold on. You said there's many guys that know, and that's what makes them suckers? Yeah, that's what makes them
No,
suckers.
there are many guys that know that they're being played as suckers.
Right.
still
And they
go
know,
along
so
with
then
the
they're
role.
suckers.
That has nothing to do with whether or not he knows she makes a certain amount of money or not.
What? Yo, you
Yes,
just said there's many
listen.
guys that know that they're suckers. Okay,
Yes.
that's what they are. Suckers.
Listen, but that has nothing to do with him knowing how much she makes or not.
Nope.
What? No, it
No.
doesn't. But if he knows and he does it, it's
So wait,
different. It makes
you
him a
see,
nice guy.
listen, he just agreed with me after saying, what? Like I was stupid, right? He does this all the time.
I said if he knows and he does it still, that makes him a nice guy. But if he don't know and he's doing it, he's a sucker. I'm not talking about knows that he's a sucker. I'm not talking
I
about
need
knows that
something
he's a sucker.
stronger to drink.
I feel like
I'm not talking about
you
knows that
actually-
he's a sucker. I'm talking about knows her
So-
finances.
If a man knows that you make the same amount as him
Yeah,
and he still covers everything,
it's a nice guy.
he's a nice guy.
A good
But
guy.
if he doesn't know, and usually the assumption is the man makes more money, he doesn't know for sure how much you make, but he still pays for everything. He's a sucker.
Sucker. Either a sucker or he just using her for how he using her and he paying to ignore the headaches.
Nigga, that's y'all anyway. Whether you know how much you make or not, please stop
He
it.
like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna just pay so I don't have to deal with no headaches. But no,
Listen,
dudes
how I
that know
get
that they're
myself
being
into-
played and still
it's
okay with it, they're suckers.
It's after 11. Let's put a bow on this, please. I got work in the morning.
Yeah, I got work in the morning too. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. So go ahead, give your final, and I'll give mine. You started it, I'll finish it.
First of all, you're not a sucker if you take care of everything. I'm gonna just put that
You're
out
not.
there.
No, you're not a
Period.
sucker if you take care
You're
of everything.
financially capable of doing it, and you have the heart that Jesus gave you. By all means, do all that you can do.
Yeah.
You are a blessing to this earth.
You're a
That's
good
what
guy.
you start with.
Mm-hmm.
But if finances, and Cordell said it earlier, money is the root of all evil. So if we take money out of the equation, as far as like competing, as far as like having eyes on money and all this stuff, I think it definitely helps you create a good solid foundation. Now, once the foundation is built, if you feel comfortable with divulging more information about your finances and you comfortable and they're comfortable, by all means, I would never tell anybody to do things in a certain way that wasn't productive to them. I just feel like it's not a necessary step as far as joint this, joint that, or divulging too much information. If the other person hasn't volunteered or had a sit down with you and is requesting certain information, I think it's your prerogative to not volunteer it too. And that's what my situation has been. No one has come and asked me how much you make an hour, how much this, how many hours you make. That's a lot. It's, hey, what are we comfortable doing? What's the range that we're trying to stay within? And that's that. And it's worked for me. Might not work for everybody, and everybody got their own opinion, but what has worked for me is what I've been doing. And I feel like as long as it works for your household, fuck the opinions of people that don't contribute to it.
Facts.
Facts. All right, and I'm going to start off with this. The money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. People get that caught up all the time. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. That's that part I'm going to start with. Secondly, listen, when you're having a financial conversation and a person is divulging their own financial information and they're asking for you to divulge that same information to them that they're divulging to you in your financial conversation, which is a give and take of two people, and you're withholding, that person will feel like there's a wall there that you're not willing to share as they're willing to share. Let's make that clear. Next, if you're a dude and you're paying for everything, and you know what your female makes, and you know, and you're comfortable with handling everything, and that's cool. You're a good dude. The world needs dudes like you. That's a good thing. But if you're a dude and you're a sucker and you know you're being a sucker, or you're a dude that you're just paying for everything and you don't have no idea what Shorty is doing or nothing that Shorty's doing in her life, either you're just not really interested in Shorty and you're just trying to pay her for her headaches, or you're a sucker too, like those dudes that know that they're suckers. I'm going to get that clear. Now, everybody's financial conversation is going to be different because every two people in their situations is different. How someone might reflect what they're saying to the next person, you might take that this way, but the person that they're actually with and reflecting it to might not take it the same way as you. So how you feel about your situation is definitely how you feel about your situation. Don't let outside people dictate what you have going on with your situation. And that's his story.
There it is, guys.
When you, yo,
Whatever
I'm
side
looking
of
for you
the
to look
coin
back
you
and give me
land
that
on.
apology text. Or you know what I'm going to do,
Whatever
right?
side of the coin you land
Find
on,
it.
make sure that you're comfortable with it. Don't make anybody pressure you or make you feel like you got issues because you don't fit into their little box of what they
Big
want
box.
you to fit into. Okay. And with that, exactly. Cordell, know you drinking because you sound like a. Listen. Anyway. Guys, until next week, same time, same place. Hope to see more of y'all at 9 o'clock. Not 10 and 11.
Yo, today is my grandson's
no
birthday.
name.
I'm surprised
Yes,
I
to
made
the
it.
grandson, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Tell him come online. We want to say hi.
He already was lit today. I think he out. Yeah, I think he out. Yeah, so.
Oh man.
Yeah, next
you
week,
missed the
same
whole
time, same
show.
place. And
9 p.m.